In 1657, in Massachusetts, the General Court decided that the sale of high-proof alcoholic beverages, such as rum, brandy, whiskey, and wine, would be illegal. This was one of the earliest attempts to control alcohol consumption in the history of the United States. In 1784, I publicly warned about the physical and mental health dangers of excessive alcohol consumption. In 1789, a group of approximately 200 farmers from Connecticut formed the Temperance Association, with the aim of combating the use of alcoholic beverages. In the following years, similar movements emerged in states like Virginia and New York. By 1830, the consumption of distilled beverages reached an alarming peak in the United States, with an average of 1.7 bottles per week per person, which, compared to 2010, is about 3 times higher. In 1920, the famous Prohibition Law came into effect with the enactment of the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, banning the manufacture, trade, transportation, importation, and exportation of alcoholic beverages. This legal milestone lasted for 13 years until it was repealed. Today's topic is the Mafia, alcohol, and Al Capone. How did a young man from Brooklyn become one of the biggest icons of organized crime? How did the Italian Mafia establish itself in the United States? And what were the consequences for the country and the world? To find out all that, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to leave a like. Now let's go back in time and talk about Italy. In 2016, nearly 17 million Americans identified themselves as being of Italian descent, making the United States the main destination for Italian immigration in history. Between 1870 and 1914, over 5 million Italians migrated to the United States, most of them from southern Italy and Sicily. But why this mass migration? During that period, the Italian unification occurred in 1861, aiming to consolidate the small kingdoms that formed Italy. However, this unification resulted in an economic downturn in the South, while the government favored the industrialization of the North. This led to a massive exodus of Italians from the country between 1880 and 1915, totaling around 13 million immigrants. Among them were Gabriel Capone, a barber, and Teresina Raiola, a seamstress, who left the quiet province of Salerno in search of a better life in the United States.
They settled in Brooklyn, where on January 17, 1899, Alphonse Gabriel Capone was born, later known as Al Capone.
From an early age, Capone exhibited difficult behavior, marked by his explosive temper. Growing up in a poor neighborhood, he was soon drawn to the world of crime, organizing small gangs and committing thefts. At 14 years old, he was expelled from school after assaulting a teacher, marking his first significant brush with trouble. Shortly after leaving school, Capone joined a street gang known as the 5 Points, a famous organization of Irish and Italian immigrants in Manhattan. There, he met Frank Yale, who would become a key figure in his story. Yale led me and put me to work in a local bar. It was there that Al, with his impulsive temper, got into a fight that left scars on his face, earning him the nickname Scarface. The year 1920 marked a crucial turning point. Prohibition was implemented, banning the sale of alcoholic beverages, creating a huge opportunity for the Mafia.
Although Big Jim was opposed to the idea of entering this illegal trade, he was mysteriously assassinated just days later, paving the way for me and Capone to take over the organization, which we renamed the Chicago Outfit.
Capone quickly became the most influential man in the group and expanded their operations across the country. I also worked to soften my image, trying to present myself as a respectable businessman. He used extortion to secure his share of businesses, offering protection that was really protection from himself. By 1929, Capone controlled a vast network of illegal businesses, but his reputation took a hit with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, when he ordered the killing of 7 members of a rival gang. This event tarnished my public image, which had previously been almost tolerated by society. In the same year, the Great Depression drastically affected the American economy, and the government began revisiting its laws to increase revenue. Capone was declared public enemy #1 in the United States, but prosecuting him was extremely difficult, as he kept his operations well hidden. Only in 1931 was I convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in prison. In 1934, Capone was transferred to the infamous Alcatraz prison. His health, already deteriorating due to syphilis contracted in brothels, worsened, and he was released in 1939, after serving 8 years of his sentence. I spent my final years in Florida, where I died in 1947 from cardiac arrest. This was the life of one of the most notorious criminals in U.S. history, Al Capone. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this.